Okay, alright, so we'll unscrew the Kayfun, put that over there, take off the little drip tip, unscrew the top, just chuck that down. Now, I've got a little bit of juice left in here. I don't like to waste stuff, so I call this my arse juice bottle. It's just sort of a mixture of bits and pieces. Get what I can out in that. Let's just take off all the pieces. Many of you have seen all this before. Starts to get a bit messy. Let's grab some vape towel and just give everything a good clean. I mean, it's the not most exciting bit, but I'm planning on changing juices, so it's a good idea to just give it a clean. Some people wash it. I mean, I don't really bother. It's just had a bit of juice in it. You're wiping off the excess. The tiny bit of residue that's left in there is not really going to do anything to the new flavour of the next juice that you put in. I mean, this is just a quick changeover. You probably should give it a proper good clean out, at least probably once a month at least. Give it everything a good wash and a good clean out. My fingers are pretty fat. I can't quite get them in there. Shut paper. Give that a good wipe around. It's good to do this before you're putting it on a new coil and a new wick. That way it's all done and it's out of the way. Alright, so there is the old coil and the old wick. I can't even remember how many wraps that was. That was a 28 gauge. Coil started out at about 0.7. Depending on every time I've re-wicked it, it's sort of, I mean, it changes. It's sitting at about 0.8, 0.9. Just sort of as you re-wick it, you move it as it gunks up like that. I've been using this coil for probably about 2 weeks. 2 weeks now. Some people get a month out of them, but I want to change juice. I want to try and lower the ohms on the coil, so I'm going to recoil it. If you don't have one of these little boxes, they are awesome. I fully recommend getting one. Not only just for checking the ohms, but they just make a great little stable building table, which is just, it just makes life so much easier, and sometimes that happens. Because I wrap the wire around so tight, the screw in a bit more vape towel, like that screw, and because I want to give this a good clean out, I'm just going to take this other screw completely off. And it's just a matter of wiping. Now, some people are fanatical. They wash all this out and then you got to dry it all off and wait for it to dry. I mean, really, it's just juice that you were already vaping.
that tiny little bit is not going to have any effect on the new juice that you put in. So it's like, there's no need to be fanatical about it. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, some people are, but me, I'm not, because it doesn't really matter. So just getting these started can be a little bit tricky, but as you can see, it doesn't take all that long. You just want to, they don't want to be just in there, you just be careful. Like, yep, of course the first one worked well. Let's just screw that down there. There we go there. Now, it's probably a bit hard to see. I like them sort of reasonably high. It just makes it a bit easier when you're sort of wrapping the wire around it. Just sort of gives you a bit more room to play with it. I'll try with the tweezers. So you can see there's not a lot of, so that one's got a little bit of wobble, but there's not a lot of wobble there. So those screws are sort of, they're in there, they're bitten, they're nice, still got a lot of height. Now, this is 26 gauge Kayfun. I've already oxidized it because, I mean, well, that bit's boring for a video and we've all seen that. I'm going to be using a 2mm drill bit to wrap the wire around. So let's just get that started. So as you all already know, you want to try and keep your wraps as tight as absolutely possible. I'm going to try and go for about 5 wraps. 3, that's 4, one more makes 5. And like you've already seen in all the videos, you want your tails going in opposite directions. So there you go, you can see that. That's the bottom there. The top, both tails are underneath, and both, just get it in the focus, both are crisscrossing their ways. Now, what I've also found is this, if you don't have a set of these tweezers and you're building coils, get a set of these tweezers. They are, I've found them a lifesaver. So basically all you do is you position your coil inside nicely like that, and you can see there's some gaps in there. And we take our little flamer. These are great. I mean, you can get good ones from, but I've got to upgrade. I mean, it does the job, but I mean the flame on it's not great. But this was about $8 from one of those cheap $2 shops. So yeah. All right. So all we're doing is we're just flaming it, just heating up that coil, and that'll slowly, as it heats up, just the light compression on these tweezers will slowly bring that in. Now it's not perfect, but as you can see it's a bit less scappy. Just heat that a little bit more, put that down, and you've just got to keep repositioning it. Okay, so I've repositioned it again and just going to give it a bit more heat. I'll show you the finished product in a minute. Just heat it up, and you can't really see it on camera because of just the angle it is, but you will see, I'll show you in a minute, those coils just going down nice and tight. Just make sure you flip it over, do both sides. See the gaps, you can see it compressing down. Okay, so let's have a look at that. There you can
A little bit hard to see on camera there, it's a bit dark, but you can see that there's virtually no gaps there. Those coils are nice and tight. So you just let that cool in there for just a minute or two. One thing you do have to be careful of, when you release the coil cools down really quickly. These tweezers do not. They remain hot for quite some time, so just be really careful. You can go to pick them up and, well, it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. Alright, so we can drop that now. Put them aside so we don't burn ourselves. And there we go there. We've got our coil there, tail's going off. You can kind of see that. It's nice and tight. That's 5 wraps. Okay, so when we're playing around with the coil, one thing I have discovered is, as you're trying to put it on the Kanthal, you can pull out. You can pull out your sort of coils, and so it's just a good idea to stick it back on your bit. Now, if you don't have a 2mm drill bit, go down to Bunnings and get one. This one cost me $2.20. I mean, really, $2.20. It's just a cheap, crappy drill bit. Wasn't planning on drilling anything with it, but I mean, it's the right size for making coils. All right, so now this is a fair bit fiddly. I'm not going to do like sort of super up close as this, as everybody else is. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there showing you sort of how to get things into position and all that. So I'm just going to babble on some shit while I'm working. Roughly in the position. This can be a bit fiddly. I mean, I've had a little bit of practice at doing it now, but I'm by no means an expert or perfect at it. A lot of the times, like what's happening at the moment is, I don't know if you can see it, but the wire just doesn't want to sit around the screw. So I've got the bends in there nicely, but it just keeps lifting up. It's always good to try and get in one side. That will screw that down nice and tight. That will give you a better hold on the other. Now, at this point, I don't like to cut the tails off just yet. I like to pull it out, get there, and just do a little ohms check. Alright, 0.59. That's, I quite like that. That's really good. So now I know I can cut the tails off, but just before I do that, I just want to check a few things. So I'm going to look underneath, and I can see that I haven't got the raise that I like. So I'll just put the bit back in and just try and lift it up a bit. And that was probably way too high. That's probably going to really affect the ohms now. 6.8. That's still not too bad. Not too bad. Alright. So now let's get rid of these tails. Now, I bought these from Fast Tech. They're not too bad, but as for getting, I mean, you get the wire in the center, they cut beautifully, but right on that tip there, as you can see, I can get it in there. Oh, that time it did. Normally it does. It made a liar out of me. I mean, they're about $4 or something like that. Yep, so there we go. That one I just won't. It just won't cut. So I'll just get out my trusty tweezers. Bought these from the chemist. They come with these ones, this set, these little beauties here. I don't know, I never used that, but I mean, you don't throw it away. And a set of these, and it was $2.50. So I mean, I got this, which I use all the time, which was great, and I mean another two sets, $2.50. I mean, so coil building stuff doesn't have to be expensive. I spent less than $20, and I got my flamer. I got a whole bunch of tweezers. I mean, $4 for a set of snippers on Fast Tech. Bought a set of pliers from Fast Tech, another $2 or something. So it was like, you know, all up under $20. But let's just get in there with that. Alright, yeah. Now, we just have a look. And let's see if you can see that. I'll try and shed a bit more light on the subject. Camera work's not the best. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. Just check the ohms again. See, now 7.2. So just sort of that moving around has changed things. So I don't like that 7.2. So it's just a matter of playing with it, using the tools that you've got, just getting things right. Let's see, 7.1. Okay, so if I push down, yeah, I don't want to go down too far because I'm going to get touching. This hasn't been the best coil. And there we go, I fucked it. But we might be able to get it back in. The only problem is the tightness of it. So the little pliers here. Try and hold that. Let's screw that back down. And what have we got now? 7.6. The sevens, I'm going to go with the sevens. I can't be bothered making another one. If I wasn't doing a video, I probably just would have started again on that, because I don't know if you can see it, but what I don't like about this one is if you look at that my left hand side tail, how that's really long and that comes right across there, just the position of the coil. It's oh, hang on, there we go. Just, I mean, sometimes play around with it. You might not have to start again. I just got it back down to, the numbers are really hard to see, but that does say 6.5. And it's looking a lot better. Okay, so I got some juice that I made the other day, one I haven't tried yet, New York cheesecake. So You've all seen the wicking videos. You find the portion of the cotton and you roll it out. You take off a bit. Now, I watched plenty of videos on how to do this. There's a couple of different ways. First, I used to grab the cotton and then I twist it and twist it and twist it and get it all, and then try and thread it through, which made it a lot easier to thread through, but then I just couldn't get that fluffiness out at the end because I'd squished it all up. So I find, I've watched a couple of other videos now, and I find the best way is to just twist the end, and it doesn't take too long, and then you just get it started. And then all you do is you just give it light twists as you go. Oh, nearly forgot. We're not ready for that yet. First, we've got to have a fire. So, let's check the coil on our Hanamod. Now, this is what I'm talking about. She's gone off. So, alright, that's not all the time it does it on one click. Sometimes you'll click it as you're picking it up and it sort of doesn't quite register, and then you'll bring it up. Oh, alright, this is interesting. On the Hanamod it's telling me it's a 0.9. There we go. It was just the last settings. So yep, 0.6, and let's give that a fire. Alrighty. Now, I reckon I can get that coil just a bit tighter. So, just bear with me for a moment. Oh, she's gone up to 7. There we go, nice and tight, and we're looking at 7 ohms now. So yeah, the more you play around with them. Oh, we've gone back down to 6. Alrighty, pull that off. Ohms tester. It's just habit. Okay, so now I'm getting 8.1. 6 on the Hana, 8.1 on here, but I mean it's still good. It's still no shorts. And I'll make another call later, but as for this purposes, let's just get this one done. Now, you don't have to stress about this too much. Once I've got it through like that, I mean, I'm going to have more than enough. So I like to just fan it out, and just fan that bit out. Now, some people, if you're good enough to do it, good on you. I'm not. Some people sort of just snip off the excess there. Snip off that excess. Now what they do is they'll put that up through there, put it top, snip it just off the top of that, and then fold it down. I've found every time I've done that, usually got too much cotton and it just doesn't wick properly. The best way for me, and I mean, try a couple of ways, find the best way for you. I mean, at the end of the day, I try and sort of basically is just there where the channel is. I try and just fold it down and just roughly try and guess about where to cut it. Now, if you have a look, if I that down, that'll sit in there nicely. I just have to clean those little straggly bits up. the same with the other side. Okay, give the juice a good shake. And now we're just gonna, just very lightly, you just want to wet that wick. Get it nice and wet. Now, you just want to position it so you see the channels. You don't want to be covering those channels. I found that if you've got too much wick and it's stretching over those channels, usually doesn't wick properly, and you get that lovely burnt cotton taste, which we all love so much. So I find this way it's just a lot easier. I can play around with it, I can see what I'm doing, I can position it in. When the wick is nice and wet, it becomes nice and pliable, and it will sit where you want it to. Alright, so it's just a good habit to get into. You've just mucked around with the coil, and this is why. Okay, I got 2.9 ohms. We were 7 before, now I've got 2.1. Okay, so something's gone wrong. .24, 9.5, okay. Looking at my connections, I may have to start again. Which is a pain in the bum for video purposes. You never give up straight away. Sometimes just a little bit of fiddling. 0.68. Okay. Alrighty. Back in, check everything again, 0.66. Okay, that should do nicely. Put the chimney back on. Now let's give it a test fire. Let's give it a little click, wait for it. Yep, still 0.6, and here we go. That's firing nicely. Okay, get the chimney stack, chuck that back on, make sure everything's nice and tight. The outside of the tank, put that back on. Okay, the easiest way I've found to fill these, I mean, this one will probably make a liar out of me. It'll probably be the first time that it that it happens, but I haven't had any flooding or gurgling or anything like that yet. So basically, all you do is stick your finger over the air intake, fill it up with juice. I mean, I find these ones the most easiest ones to fill. You don't want to go too far. You want to leave probably, I don't know, about 3 to 4 mil from the top to the juice. I just find, I mean, you can get a bit more in there, but just find when you put this top cap back on, if you've got too much in there, it just tends to sort of all spill out the sides, and you get a cloud. It's just a pain in the bum. So when you put this top cap on, you're just looking for those threads to catch. Okay, so they've caught now, so I can pull the top. Now all I do is flip it upside down, take off my finger, and tighten her up. Now, I mean, you will get a little bit of residue. Always do. Just grab a bit of towel, clean that up. Now, because my devices are, well, they're important, they cost money, and I mean, these things are quite cheap. So, once I've done all that and I've got everything right, I just get into the habit of giving it a last check. 0.66. Now, chuck them back on the Hannah. Click it on. I like the fact that this has got a little fire to make sure it's all reset. I like the fact that this has got its own little ohm checker. Sort of, it's just double checking everything, making sure you haven't got shorts. Also, I mean, another thing with shorts is your device, if you've got a short, your device will get hot really quickly. I'll do a video on that later. I've got another mod over there that's top button firing. It's got a short and a switch, and I discovered that really quickly. So let's put the drip tip back on. We'll head away from uppy closey mode, and we'll talk about how this new flavour vapes.